All right, hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great Monday. Miners did great today. Bitcoin not so much, so it's kind of weird. Bitcoin was going down. Miners were down in the beginning of the day as well, and then they pumped back up towards the end of the day, which was kind of nice to see. I was looking at it towards the middle of the day or towards the middle of the morning, and I was thinking, I think we might actually end up being in the green on a lot of these guys. And sure enough, that kind of played out the way I thought it was going to play. We've seen that before, where Bitcoin's down in the morning, miners are down in the morning, and then they actually end up being in the green here. So that was kind of nice. So we'll take a look at what happened with Bitcoin miners today. We also have a bunch of news stories happening here from not only Cleanspark, Iren as well. Soluna today was pumping hard. Today was up almost 100% there, or maybe even was 100% at one point. That one did great. Other companies did great. Bitdeer as well. Others, I think Bitfarms was the only one that was in the red today. Everybody else did fantastically, all things considered, Bitcoin being down. So narrative around HPCI is definitely pumping all these guys here right now. What else do we have here? We got some possibly big news coming out tomorrow out of the White House. We'll see what that's going to be about. I have some X posts on that as well. We'll get into that. And then we'll take a look at, obviously, Iren and their release today of buying more GPUs and what that could actually mean for them in their valuation-wise, okay? So we'll get into all that and everything else. Q&A followed by all that. But always, not financial advice, for anyone only. Do your own research for disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin and miners today. So Bitcoin was down today. It was down 2.21%. I've heard stories that it was just a big liquidation event happening here. About $1 billion, I think, dollars was liquidated today within a number of hours. So that was obviously not good for people that were long, or maybe a little leverage there. So they got wiped out. And we might be setting up for whatever happens tomorrow with the news coming out of the White House and from Dennis Porter as well. We'll see what that is, and if this is just kind of a setup for that to pump us up much higher afterwards. So we'll take a look at that in a second here. Ethereum was also down today, and my markets overall were in the green today. So it was surprising Bitcoin was heading down. Ethereum was down today also. It was down 5.5% on the day, closed at 4,202.42 cents. It's down a little bit here now in the new day. Same thing with Bitcoin here. Bitcoin closed at $112,736 and change. We are down a little bit here more right now. We are below the, what is that, the 100 simple moving average and the 50 SMA as well. We have been here before and we bounced back up, so we'll see if we can, this might be the final bounce up that we get here. We'll see. Miners did like really good today, all things considered, except for Bitfarms. Bitfarms was actually in the red today. It was up in the green at one point, but it did finish out in the red, being down 1.6%. Bitdeer had a very nice day today, 9.18% to the upside here. I don't know if this is a new 52-week high. No, it's not a new 52-week high for them. Going for them. Kango was up 2.92%. Cipher was up huge today, 13.68%. This is a new 52-week high for them. Cleanspark was up a little bit as well after being down quite a bit here today. It was down like 4 or 5% at one point, I think, even maybe more than that. So it was actually able to squeak out a green day here. It's pumping after hours as well right now because the news that came out from them. CORZ was up 3.31%. Hive was up just a little bit, 0.79. Hut 8 was up 4.5%. Iren was up another 8.4% after being up almost 10% plus at that point. That one also reached a new 52-week high here. And for them, that's a new high altogether, I think, here. Going all the way back, yeah, they're definitely hitting new all-time highs here. Mara was up just a little bit, 0.33%. Riot was up just a little bit as well, 0.23%. Wolf was up nicely today, 4.64%. I think this one also reached a new 52-week high on that one. And then as far as the Bitcoin holding companies here, MicroStrategy was down 2.56%. They actually bought more Bitcoin as well. Galaxy was up 2.67. Block was up a little bit, 0.49. Coinbase was down 3.07%. Metaplanet was down 3.13%. Exodus was up 1.7%. Semler was actually up 0.6% there. Or not Semler, Nexon. Semler here was up 9.87%. Phoenix was flat. GameStop was up 2.68%. Small miners were down for the most part, except for DigiPower. They're being up 4.94%. The Bitcoin miner ETFs had another great day today. BitQ was up 2.03%. BKCH was up 4.25% roughly. DAP was up 2.8%, and WGMI was up 5.8%. This thing has been doing really well. Going down here to some of the other ones that we have here, ABTC was up just a little bit, 1.83. Wi-Fi, which is Bit Digital's subsidiary there, was up 6.54%. Open was actually down today, 12.43. There's a lot of talk on X about that one. Oracle was up another 6.3% today, and Nibius was up 7.3%. And then Soluna, check this one out, right? You guys have asked me about this one last week and the week before. I told you guys I didn't have enough information on this one. This one, I think, is just getting repriced right now because of their valuation before. This was like at, what, 30, 40 million or something like that? Market cap, which is just crazy. So I think this one's just getting repriced here right now, possibly with the potential that they have there as well for their growth going forward. So we'll see how that one does. I think that one's up another nicely up in the after hours as well on it. So that's the markets overall right now. And then pre-hours here, we can see that BitDeer right now is up 0.84%. Bitfarms is actually, wow, now down 3.9%. It was up earlier. It's down actually. And then let's see here, Cipher is up 2.36 after being up almost 5%. Cleanspark is up right now. Let's see where that one finishes up at after the update here. All right, up 5.31%. CORZ Scientific is up 0.06%. Hive Digital is up almost a little bit over 0.75%. Hut 8 is down 1.27. Iren is, let's see, this one's going to be green now. It looks like it's turning green. Let's see, where does it end up at? All right, it is up 0.38% right now. Mara, let's see where this one ends up as well. It was about a half an hour that I updated these, so 0.38% on the downside. Riot Platforms is up 0.11%. TerraWolf is up 1.13%. And then Soluna here in the after hours is up another 22%. So if you guys got into it last week, congratulations. You guys are up nicely on this thing already as it is. So congrats to you guys there. All right, let's get into some of the news stories that we do have here, and also Bitcoin, where is it at right now? For the month of September, we're up only 4%. Here we do have approximately, what do we have, about 9 days left to go, roughly, 9 to 8 days. In the month here, we'll see if we can still squeak out a green month here. I think there's a chance that we might, but it's definitely got some pressure here on it right now. As far as Bitcoin ETFs here, I have not seen any data on it yet, so it looks like Farsight Investors is behind a little bit, or at least none of the data has been provided yet for them, so we don't have any data on that. And then what else do we have here? All right, let's get into the news portion of it as well. This is what we have here right now, which is just in. The White House says Trump will give a major speech tomorrow related to Bitcoin rumors. We have a X post from Dennis Porter as well, saying, just got off the call with one of the most influential people in Washington, D.C. that I know. I told them the news coming tomorrow, and they agreed that this announcement is going to cause a seismic shift in Bitcoin politics. Okay, those are some pretty strong words there. We'll have to obviously wait and see what happens tomorrow. So there's something is brewing for sure. And then here, this is from Bitcoin Historian. Breaking 9 congressmen just wrote a letter urging the SEC to approve Bitcoin and cryptocurrency investing for 401ks. Millions investing passively in BTC. It's coming. I mean, you can kind of do that now. I think you can get the ETFs there. So you can kind of do it now, but getting pure Bitcoin or spot Bitcoin, I think that would be huge as well. Make it easy for people to do that. And then this is also part of it here. U.S. lawmakers ask SEC to implement President Trump's executive order opening up the $12.5 trillion 401k retirement market to crypto. All right, so we have the signatures there on that. We'll see if that goes through. Maybe that's part of it as well. I don't know. On tomorrow's announcement, we'll find out. And then here, lastly, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, ASST, to acquire Bitcoin treasury company Semler. An all-stock transaction implies $90.52 per share, which is a 210% premium to last close. We know that asset there also did buy some Bitcoin there as well, right? Bringing Strive's total Bitcoin holdings to 5,886. So they announced that purchase of that, and now they're trying to get obviously what Semler has on their books as well on it. So it's getting pretty interesting to see what's going to play out here on this space. Okay, and then let me see. I'm still having issues with my screen here a little bit. I did an update on Apple, my computer here. To be honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of the new change or the way the design is of it, the layout, or not the, I don't know, I wouldn't call it layout, but just the glass thing. I think it's overdone on some of the things here. And also it's kind of buggy here. I wish I didn't update it had I known, but I think we'll battle through it. All right, what else we got here? We got some good news stories, obviously, from the miners here as well. So we have Cleanspark expands capital strategy with additional 100 million Bitcoin-backed credit facility capacity from Coinbase. I think this brings them up to like 300 million now that they have with Coinbase there. But today they announced that it has expanded its capital strategy by increasing its Bitcoin-backed credit facility with Coinbase Prime by 100 million. The 100 million in financing will be deployed into strategic capital expenditures, including expanding CleanSpark's energy portfolio, scaling its Bitcoin mining operations, and investing in high-performance computing capabilities. Right, that's the big thing here that's driving the stock here in after hours right now, is the high-performance computing capabilities. This is a quote from Matt Schultz here. We are proud to expand our relationship with Coinbase Prime as we continue to add megawatts to our portfolio and take steps towards alternative use cases for some of our data centers. Right, so alternative use cases would be HPC AI. Continuing on here, he said, we see tremendous opportunity to accelerate mining growth while simultaneously optimizing our assets, particularly those near major metropolitan areas or metro centers, and in our immediate pipeline through the potential development of high-performance computing campuses. So which campuses is he talking about here? I think he's talking about the ones that are in Georgia here. They got 2 sites here. That is this one here, which is Norcross, which is 20 megawatts. And then they also have this one here, which is College Park, which is 47 megawatts. Right, those are really close to Atlanta there. They got that one. They also have this one up here, I believe, Lafayette. And I'm not sure what that one is as far as megawatts. Couldn't find that information on it. And then they also have locations here in Tennessee. The one that's in Lenore City. Unknown megawatts on that one. That one's pretty close to Knoxville here. Do they have one in Knoxville as well? They do have one in Knoxville, which is 85 megawatts. That could be a potential there for it if they do end up using it. They also have New Tazewell, which is unknown megawatts. Jellicoe, which is unknown megawatts, unfortunately. Winfield is unknown as well. I can find the information. And they have Mountain City, which is 30 megawatts there. And what else do they have here? They got some stuff here in Kentucky, I thought, or those might be in Kentucky there. They obviously also have the Wyoming site, right, which is over here. This is on CleanSpark Cheyenne, which is 75 megawatts there. Could that be used for something? It's pretty close to Denver, not too far away from that. So maybe. So they do have the potential there to use some of their sites, at least for HPC AI, and the rest for Bitcoin mining. Now, I keep saying, and I've said it probably ad nauseum here for the last couple of weeks after they announced that they're going into HPC AI, we need more details on the sites as far as which sites could potentially be used for HPC AI. And hopefully they do provide that in time as well. Going down here, continuing on here, delivering accretive growth using non-dilutive financing is at the core of CleanSpark's capital strategy. We are excited to expand our strategic relationship with Coinbase as our business continues to evolve. Our digital asset management team will continue to drive growth and efficiency. Said Gary V there, CleanSpark's Chief Financial Officer and President. Our infrastructure first strategy has been proven historically and will further enhance shareholder value as we expand into more diversified compute opportunities, aka HPC AI, right? So they are definitely plowing into that as well, which is nice. Now, we need more details. We need something more concrete. But this is a very, very good start from them in this move into HPC AI as well. So there's that one. Next here is Iren. So this is huge news, obviously, for them. Iren doubles AI Cloud to 23,000 GPUs, raises AI Cloud annual run rate target to 500 million for next year. So today they announced it has doubled its AI Cloud capacity to 23,000 GPUs following the procurement of additional 12.4 thousand GPUs and is now targeting more than 500 million in AI Cloud annualized run rate revenue by Q1 2026. So they're looking to get these things installed here in the next basically 6 months here, which is just fantastic there. So to meet rising demand, Iren has purchased 7.1 thousand NVIDIA B300s, 4.2 thousand NVIDIA B200s, and 1.1 thousand AMD MI350Xs for approximately 674 million there. Yeah, they're definitely spending a lot, but a lot of times you need to spend money to make money. The order reflects a growing trend of customer contracting capacity ahead of delivery. This is key there, right? So you're getting customers signing up before the capacity is even online here. With Iren's in discussions for multi-thousand Blackwell clusters. This is huge. So the stock can definitely go up much higher from where it is right now, but that is very telling as far as what's going on with the business there at Iren. They are getting customers before they actually have the capacity to do so. So customers are signing up here. Also, talking about Iren here, I saw on the All In podcast when they had their conference not too long ago. One of the podcasts that they had there, they talked about Iren specifically, about how they are being a data center provider, builder, NeoCloud, all that stuff. and they had a bunch of praise for them with the way that they did. They sponsored, I guess, an event. I think it was at the gaming tables or something like that. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what the details were of it, but I did hear about it, and it was actually very, very nice of them to say that, all those things. So that may be helping out to drive more customers for them as well, because as you guys know, if you guys follow the All In podcast, I mean, a lot of these guys are multi-millionaires, if not billionaires. And they talk about, obviously, all the stuff that's happening in the country and data science. I mean, if you're not listening to the All In podcast, you definitely have to listen to it, because it's a must. It's a weekly must on my list. Continuing on here, deliveries will be staged over the coming months at Iren's Prince George campus and are expected to support the 500+ million AI cloud annual run rate target by the end of Q1 2026. The expanded fleet will total approximately 23,000 GPUs. So we got 1.9 thousand NVIDIA H100s and H200s, 19,000.1 NVIDIA B200s and B300s, 1.2 thousand NVIDIA GB300s, and 1.1 thousand AMD MI350Xs. Okay. The addition of the AMD hardware alongside further NVIDIA GPUs broadens Iren's offering and addressable market. So there's going to be something that customers are asking for potentially there to bring those on as well. And I would have to look more into these GPUs there as far as what their capabilities are. I'm not as familiar with them as I am with NVIDIA. I think all of you guys are probably in the same boat. Maybe some of you guys know what those are, but I would definitely have to take a look at those. Okay, the AI cloud demand continues to outpace global supply, with a growing appetite among customers to contract capacity ahead of commissioning here. So that is huge. Iren is well positioned to capture this demand, with its British Columbia campuses capable of supporting more than 60,000 Blackwell GPUs. In addition, its Texas data centers financing work streams are underway to support this growth, with any impact to Iren's Bitcoin mining capacity expected to be mitigated by redeploying ASICs to other sites. Okay. Excuse me. So that's great news. So they're going to probably stay pretty much close to 50 exahash as they are right now. And then we'll have some variability in their average hash rate during the month if they move things around. But that's okay. As global demand for compute accelerates, customers are increasingly seeking partners who can deliver scale quickly, said Daniel Roberts, co-founder and co-CEO of Iren there. And that is true. We're obviously seeing that with Iren here, which is, again, fantastic to see. Doubling our fleet to more than 23,000 GPUs in just a few months highlights the strength of our vertically integrated platform and our ability to meet urgent long-term demand. This shift toward pre-contracting ahead of delivery provides further momentum for the growth of our AI cloud business, right? They didn't even speak about like Horizon 1 or Horizon 2 that are being built out as well. Those are both, I believe, 50 and I believe they were both 50 megawatts sites. So that's going to be bringing on even more potential for them and capacity going into 2026. And those are going to be, we have to look at, but let's take a look at Iren here really quick. What do they have here for their sites? If we look at, let's see, Iren. All right, so Iren has Childress, which is 750 megawatts right now, which is Bitcoin mining. Iren Sweetwater, 1.4 gigawatts. That's in the pipeline for 2026 and 2027. Same with Sweetwater, 600 megawatts there, right? We got Prince George, which is 50 megawatts. Iren Mackenzie, which is 80 megawatts. And Canal Flats is 30 megawatts. So they are obviously working on 50 megawatts. So if they can do 50 megawatts, 60,000 GPUs, they could possibly do obviously the same thing at, not Galaxy, Horizon 1 and Horizon 2, which would be another additional 60,000 plus another 60,000. So we're looking at a total of maybe like 180,000 GPUs sometime next year, which would be huge. All right. So there's that. And then if we look at their numbers here on my spreadsheet here, I added in for them HPC AI annual run rate, right, of 500 million next year. BTC annual run rate, this is based on the current numbers that we have for production in August, multiplying that times 12. We get a total annual run rate of 1.4 billion at that point. And we're looking at, with a P of 15, somewhere at 50% net income of 39.22. I think their margins are going to be better than that. So I think there probably should be somewhere around $58 to like $60 at this point. And depending on the P that they get as well, that could pump them up even much higher here. Now, if they announce they're getting even more and more customers being onboarded and going forward into next year, we could obviously see them go up even much, much higher from where they are right now. And that's not even taking into account the potential for Sweetwater 1 and Sweetwater 2 as well, which is 2 gigawatts of capacity there. So the stock can definitely do very, very well here in the next year to 2 years even. We could see, higher than $100 per share. If they play their cards right, and as long as the economy doesn't tank or something like that, right? Not given any black swan events or anything like that, they should do very, very well here. So I'm holding tight to them as it is right now. All right, and then let's see here. That is all I got right now for you guys. I want to do something really quick so I can fix my screen so I can see your guys' questions and comments on the screen while we go into Q&A. But as always, spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. Link for that is down in the description. As always, a couple bucks a month for that, and greatly appreciate you guys for the support there. But yeah, let's go into Q&A here. And I think I'll be able to do this right now. If I do this, yeah, I should be able to do this. Q&A, let me see if I can fix my output here really quick. Oh, actually, that did change over. Okay, so I'm good. Then I'd have to restart things. Perfect. We're doing good. As always, questions, if you guys could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And we're going to work our way up and work our way down, as always, in the comments here. So I will get through all the comments. Be patient, and we will get through it all. All right, what do we got here? Okay, let's see. All right. Mark says, hey, Seb, don't forget to mention the huge 100 billion NVIDIA AI investment. Yes, that was in OpenAI, I believe, right? Which they're also offering like 10 gigawatts of capacity. So that's huge there. SK, who has more upside between Iren and Cipher from here? I honestly think it's still possibly going to be on Iren, I think. Based on the numbers that I'm seeing here, at least for them. But they both have really good potential. I mean, it just depends on which way. Well, I think Cipher's probably going to go into a deal with a hyperscaler potentially. Iren is just like doing this all on themselves. They're becoming a neocloud or even hyperscaler themselves. So that could be where they get more potential there, potentially. Okay. Let's see. Pit Sharma says, hello, Seb. How you doing? SK, is it worth buying Soluna? Soluna is one of those lottery tickets that you just buy and see where it goes, right? It could do very, very well, or it could come crashing back down. I think they were way undervalued for where they were in general, right? Being valued at $30 million per market cap. They're now at like 60 million or something like that. I think it's a little bit better, but still low compared to their peers there. So hopefully that one continues to go up for you guys. SH, how can miners increase megawatts organically without new acquisitions? They basically buy, what do they call them? Greenfield sites or brownfield sites, where you're buying a site that has access to potential megawatts, right? So then you're looking at the interconnects as well. You got to build out the substation. All those things happen, and that takes time. But that's the way you can do it. All right. Neville says, a healthy pullback for the Bitfarms. Yeah, I agree. It's been up huge here. A little pullback is, we were expecting it to happen. MJS says, having secured energy seems to be the most important variable for the miners to get re-rated. Thoughts? It does definitely help on it. I think also getting customers and things like that does. And then pipeline. Well, I wouldn't say pipeline, because pipeline is basically a pipe dream until you actually get it signed and contracted. So having megawatts under development, right, as some are calling it right now. All right. Neville says, my guess is that Trump will fund the SBR, Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, with the increased cost for the H-1B visas. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a nothing burger. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what it is. Yeah, I mean, he could do that. He could also do it with his gold visas that he has for like $5 million. Why isn't the money going into Bitcoin, at least partially, part of it, not all of it? All right, let's see. Dan says, yo, Seb, Iren doubles AI cloud to 23,000 GPUs, insane growth in their AI chip fleet. Mike Elford from Iren also just became a board member on a different company too. Yeah, that was on Backed that he became a board member there. That stock went up like 40-some% today on the news there. All right, as it says, I believe Soluna move is timed with the NASDAQ compliance, 10 days above $1. They only have 2.8 exahash and needs more finance to build their business. Yes, they also got $100 million credit or loan here. I do have this here for you guys. Here, you guys can take a look at it here. This came out last week on September 16th, but the stock didn't do anything close to what it did today here. So they got $100 million from Generate Capital, a leading infrastructure investment firm. The initial $12.6 million draw will fund refinancing and construction of active data center projects with additional capital support for Soluna 1 gigawatt expanding pipeline. Right? They keep talking about pipeline, but once they actually get it, then they will do that. But you can see there, data centers projects that they have, data center operations, construction, development, so forth, so on. This is their pipeline basically on it. So the credit facility of up to 100 million to be used for refinancing and construction of Soluna's data center projects, right? But even the 100 million is kind of low depending on the type of data centers you're building out there. So I'm not sure if that was, I don't think this was the actual thing that pumped the stock there, but yeah, I mean, they at least got, that's actually pretty big considering that they were only a 30 million market cap and they got a $100 million facility from General Capital. So somebody's, looking there pretty sharply, I think. Where do I want to go? I want to go back here to Q&A. All right. Jordan, is Iren still going to be doing monthly mining reports? I believe they are. They haven't stated that they aren't. Gary, Seb, question here. Seb, you missed Cipher's become second miner behind Iren to hit all-time high in 2025. I talked about that in the beginning. I said that they reached a new all-time high here. For them, didn't Wolf beat them? Well, I think they're all like getting into all-time highs for each one of those. All right, more Tim. Last week we had a brief rotation from Iren, Cipher to the laggards, Mara, Cleanspark. Do you expect the same thing again if BTC gets moving? Would be foolish to trim Iren, Cipher, in my opinion, but who knows? Yeah, I mean, depending. I mean, if you're up nicely on some of this stuff here, some people have been taking profits and moving into some of the things that have not been performing as well. I've done that in the past as well, right? I sold out of CORZ Scientific, bought Cleanspark and Iren at that point, sold Cleanspark to buy more Iren as well. I've sold Bitfarms to buy Cleanspark and Iren. So depending on if I'm up on things, I will rotate if need be, if I see that there's more potential on some of the other ones here. So we're seeing that also happening here. All right, Gary says, I heard a rumor Trump speech is to welcome Jimmy Kimmel back to the late night. Okay, that would actually be pretty funny if that does happen. Let's see, Cleanspark is late. I wouldn't expect anything significant until 2027, 2028. Not necessarily, right? They do have sites that are in pretty good locations right now as it is by metropolitan areas. So they could retrofit those sites. And I think one of their sites in Georgia is already, or was a data center that they made into a Bitcoin mining facility with immersion cooling. So that may not take that long to, retrofit, move things around. I mean, you could probably do that in a couple months, I would think, to get servers back in their racks of servers and get those things installed. So I would say within the next 6 months to a year, there's a possibility of something happening there. Okay, Victor C. The current prices, which one is a better buy? I mean, everything has been running up here nicely in the last couple of weeks. Which one's a better buy right now? I think Cleanspark's still way undervalued. Bitfarms is still way undervalued. Hive, Mara itself is way undervalued. Some of these guys like Iren are getting really, really good valuation, but they're also executing really, really well and increasing their business like Iren is doing right now. So Iren can continue to go up even further here. We don't know. I mean, Iren could go $100 plus in the next year or so. So I don't know. Take your pick on some of these guys here. Where do you see which ones are still more undervalued? All right, MTS, where do you see Wolf stock? I mean, Wolf stock is going to continue to go up with these guys here for HPCEI as we get more deals and things like that. And then also if they get additional deal for their additional megawatts that they're bringing online, the stock will go up on that as well. We just see Bitfarms versus Cleanspark. Which one will get closer? To get a deal, depending on the deal size, right? I mean, Bitfarms has potential as well with the Pennsylvania sites. The only question is how fast can they get the megawatts there for it and retrofit and things like that. Can they get a deal there? I mean, that's a fantastic site for them. So I think on site-wise, I would say Bitfarms has maybe a slighter advantage when it comes to it. But, I mean, Cleanspark also has Georgia facility by Atlanta, which is also a pretty big hub there. So I don't know. That's a toss-up for me right now. I own both stocks. That's why I own Bitfarms and Cleanspark. So it doesn't really matter who gets it first as long as they both get it. All right, Gary, do you think Cleanspark being 8 years behind Iren on plans for HPCI is a big or small gap? Well, I mean, obviously we know Iren has been doing this for quite a long time, like I said, 8 years. But they got into Bitcoin mining because in the beginning we didn't have HPCI, right? Things changed for them basically last year as things were switching out that way. But the good thing is Iren has obviously planned for this, which they did a very, very good job on it. But you can still build out data centers, 50 megawatts, 75 megawatts, 40 megawatts, 100 megawatts, whatever it might be, relatively quickly or retrofit the sites that you do have if need be to get customers, or even try to be another Iren if they wanted to. Sometimes being late is not always the worst thing in the world. I keep saying, I'll bring up a good example is Apple, right? Apple was late to the iPod with all the stuff that was happening, and then that catapulted them. I mean, Apple at one point was almost in bankruptcy, right? They changed things around and they became one of the biggest companies here in the world. So I say never, right? When it comes to these companies and the CEOs there, especially things like this in technology, because technology, you can learn from the mistakes of others and do things better going forward here. So I say never say never on things like that. All right, let's see. Gary says Iren has much higher energy costs in British Columbia than in Texas, so moving the 6 exahash from Canada to US will increase mining profits with lower energy costs. Okay, yeah, that's another positive there, which is true. Neville, do you think Iren is still going for a co-location deal? I think they should guarantee money. I think they should. Guaranteed money isn't bad. Yeah, I mean, they got 2 gigawatts potential that they can do something with that, whether they give up 500 megawatts of it or 1 gigawatt and use the rest for themselves. Yeah, I mean, depending on the economics of it, of the deal, what it's going to look like, it's completely up to them. But right now, as long as they see that they have profitability in just doing things by themselves, why not continue going that route, at least for right now, unless you really do get a good deal, right? They might be holding out to put a squeeze on some of these guys to put up a little bit more money, maybe. Iren or Sourmelon says Iren is literally going 200 plus. I hope that is the case for not only myself but for all you guys. Right? It's definitely, we're making millionaires out of people here, which is great. Let's see, Mark. All Cleanspark has to do is to copy Iren to some degree. They can be very successful. Make it simple. They can do it. Yeah. Okay, Akshay. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Just wanted to say how grateful I am for your content. Been a sub since Iren was $4 back in 2023. That's awesome. Happy to hear it. I hope you're doing great there with it. I hope you're still holding on to it. But thank you so much. Let's see. Sarah says, sounds like you sold Iren, Mark. Nobody sold Iren here. I don't think. Well, some people have taken some profits and have some people have portfolios, right? And they will trim their positions to keep them within the portfolio range they want to keep it in. So that does happen. All right, Gary's got a question here. Do you think if they ever decide to do another Back to the Future movie, would they consider using Iren for the energy supply? They do have a lot. Yeah, they could put in a Bitcoin miner in the back end and a GPU for the I'm drawing the blank on the car name. DeLorean, isn't it right? DeLorean, I think. All right. Let's see. Akshay says, you kept me sane and kept me holding. Really appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for that. It wasn't easy, right? I mean, we definitely had some hard times there, but, I still believe that there's still more upside for these things here. I believed them when they were down in the dirt and being done and stepped on. I still believe there was more for them to do. And sure enough, it worked out that way. So patience was key here. Let's see here. YN, what does it cost to energize a megawatt for HPC compared to energize it for BTC mine? Well, for build out, you're looking at somewhere between $7 and like $12 million per megawatt for HPC. With Bitcoin mining sites, you're looking at much less, right? You're looking at somewhere between 350,000 per megawatt to like 500,000 per megawatt. That's not including the GPUs there or the ASIC mining machines there. All right. Mark says, I haven't sold Iren way back. I needed the money. Okay, so he sold some way back. I mean, yeah, if you need money to survive, for food, for shelter, whatever it is, you got to sell. Same thing with Bitcoin. Mortem, do you view Mara as a basket case? No, I don't view Mara as a basket case. I mean, have their decisions maybe not been to the benefit of shareholders? Possibly, right? I disagree with some things that they have done there. They're getting their hands into too many things. I think they need to maybe concentrate more. Right. One of the things that Steve Jobs did when he went back into Apple is, they had all these different business segments, and he just got rid of a bunch of things and concentrated on the core thing. Maybe that's what Mara should do as well. Spin record or spin second serve says, would Iren buy Cleanspark since they've reached $40 per share? No, they would have to pay a premium on it. And what are you getting? You're getting 33 different sites across 4 or 5 different states, and you're paying a premium on it. No, I don't think they would buy it right now. All right, YN, can you compare gross numbers of how much ROI can you get with? I'm not sure what you mean. Get with who? There. Remember when I said add Solana? You did, Andre. You did. Yeah. I hope you bought some. Right. You were talking about it like last week. You were talking about it the week before, I think, even as well. Yeah, there were quite a few. I wouldn't say a lot of you, but there were a couple of you guys that were talking about it here. So you guys were saying it's way undervalued, and I agree with you. It's way undervalued. I just don't understand the business segment part of it, with partnering with other partners to build out these sites. I didn't. All right. So we'll see if it's just getting repriced right now on it. But I'm, happy if you guys got into it. Let's see. Can you briefly show us the smallest miner similar to Solana with a good potential? Thanks. I mean, then you're looking at some of the other small guys here, which would be DMG, right? Is a pretty small miner there. DigiPower as well is another one. You also have, I would probably stay away from Sphere 3D because they don't own any sites. I would also possibly, there's Mawson as well. I think they're still publicly traded as well. Who else do we have? Mawson, Argo. I would probably stay away from Argo because they don't have any infrastructure as well. Those are the ones I can think of right now off the top of my head. There's probably maybe a couple other ones in there that I'm just drawing a blank on right now. All right, let's see. Mortem says, Tomley stated in his GRNY ETF podcast that he thinks we are in 2020 type easing cycle with BTC primed to go. I 4x my portfolio in 2020, so we are nowhere near the top. Okay, yeah, I don't believe we're anywhere near the top either. Mark says, I think Iren is a long-term investment at this point. I would agree with you there as well. I'm looking at it the same way. Spin second serve, like the show, Seb's kids need new Jordans. No, I would not buy them. Jordans, they're too little. Well, my oldest probably would like some Jordans, but man, I'm not paying for Jordans on those things. They just get beat to crap with those guys running around and everything. They get Nikes, and things like that, but like $50 to $75 per shoes. I'm not spending over $100 per shoes. Now, Bitfarms literally has a better chance of getting a deal. They're likely to get a deal in Washington first. They do have a Washington site as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to get it. It's, I didn't expect Wolf to get a deal first, but they got the deal. So we'll see who gets it next. All right, Victor C. Question, is Ben known for executing quickly? I think with his background in computing and all that stuff, I think he can execute quickly. It's just he's in the CEO position here. We'll see how quickly he can execute with the team that he has there now. And they have executed relatively quickly as well, bringing their sites up and things like that. So I would say yes. But HPCI is a different ballgame altogether when it comes to all that stuff. YN, could you compare the average ROI for Energize and buying BTC miners to mine, Energize, and hosting other companies, HPC, AI, GPUs, Energize, and buy AI, GPUs to host them? Okay, that's a lot of comparisons there. I don't have the data on it right now. That's something I could possibly look into. We know that obviously, from what we've heard at least, buying GPUs, you're looking at about 2-year ROI on those. With ASICs, depending on the time frame when you buy them, and if you buy them in a good time frame, you're looking somewhere between, on average, between 9 to about 15 to 18 months ROI, right? Depending on where Bitcoin price is at, difficulty, all that stuff. So there's that. The cost to build out the infrastructure is much higher for HPC AI. We know that for a fact as well. And we also know that for Bitcoin mining, you put up a shed, right? It doesn't cost you that much compared to a tier 3 data center or something like that, or tier 2 or even tier 1. So there's definitely more costs involved, which those would obviously be spread out over a longer period of time here. And then the GPUs can last you probably, I would say, between 4 and 7 years, whereas the ASICs will historically have lasted approximately 3 years or so. You could possibly squeeze out more years out of them if the economics on Bitcoin are actually good. And we don't have a bear market where we go down 80% in Bitcoin. That's usually what kills the miners and the network hash rate going up tremendously. All right, Andre. Soluna secured 100 million in financing to build green data centers. Market cap only 65, going to 300 million easily. Could very well potentially be. Yeah, I mean that, right? So probably need to do a little bit more research on them. SH, we should hear more deals very soon, similar to Nvidia and OpenAI. 100 billion, 10 gigawatts. Since we need hundreds of gigawatts, I would agree. All right, DeFi, Soluna's up 100% and up 18 after hours. Geez, this seemed to be an ad. This is being compared to Bit Digital and Bitfarms in relation to HPC. Okay. Yeah, it's being re-rated. I think I kind of knew it was undervalued, but way undervalued, but didn't know enough of the business to get into it, so I stayed out. All right, Gary, the hyperscalers seem to be going all in to not be late in HPCI and investing huge money to avoid being late. Not sure being late in this space is the same as other spaces, but time will tell. Yeah, you never know. Right, people talked about getting the computer space, computing, whatever, smartphones, all that stuff. Sometimes you get it. This is all going to be building out, and it's going to continue. Going to be a continuation for probably a decade plus here, I think. So this is just going to continue to be built out. DeFi, Soluna currently at 50 million market cap. Bitfarm is at a 1.6 billion market cap. For comparison, Soluna has a planned 2.8 gigawatt rollout versus 1.3 gigawatt currently for Bitfarms. Well, planned, or is it a pipeline? Right. That's with their market cap. I mean, that is hard to get the capital. We would have to look at also what was their revenue here in the last quarter for them. Let me see if we can find that information on them really quick here. SEC filings, investor presentations, operating, let's see, investor presentations, Soluna investor presentation, second quarter 2025 results. All right, let's take a look at that here really quick. Oh, this is a video. I don't want a video. I want a presentation. Let me see if we can find it here. What was their revenue here? All right, let's take a look at their deck here from Q2 results. Let's go back here. There we go. Let's see if we can zoom this in for you guys as well a little bit. All right, 2025 Q2 revenue 6.2 million. So you're looking at roughly annual run rate. What is that? 24 million. So that's kind of where they were priced at 30 million. So that's kind of why their average power cost was $33 per megawatt, or 3 cents roughly. Curtail energy. What else? We have a capital raise for 53.7 million, employees 48, power development pipeline 2.8. Okay. And that average joules per terahash is 27. So their machines are not that efficient. Let's see, installed hash rate 3.1 exahash. How much of that is actually, let's see, number 2, includes a mix of prop miners and hosted miners. Okay, Q2 25 was a growth period, energization of Dorothy 2, and transition of customers at Sophie. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff that they have is like where they do, trying to blank on the word I'm looking for. Not co-location. It's where they partner with somebody and they get a percentage of it. It's gosh, I'm drawing the blank on the term there on it right now. But they have been doing that. Let's see if I can find it in here. Okay, Dorothy. I mean, the cool thing is they do build some cool little data centers here with these pods here, spaced out in this kind of pattern, which is kind of cool. What else? I mean, they got the different sites here. Dorothy, Kati. What else do we have here from them? So again, revenues are pretty low there, right? So that's why kind of stock has been kind of down as well. All right, you guys can take a look at it at your leisure when you do have time. But there's a lot I need to look into, obviously, in Soluna here. See what's going on with it. But at least they're getting a little bit valued better here right now. Okay, I talked about that one. Let's see. DeFi says breaking the Trump administration is suggesting, I can't pronounce that, as the first potential pathway to treating autism. What? Okay, I'm not getting into that political stuff. Victor C, do the rally for Bitfarms, or is the rally over for Bitfarms? I don't think so. Taking a little break here, a little correction. I think it's healthy. Andre says Soluna can run to $10 from $2 and still be undervalued. They have over 1 gigawatt of power and they are only worth 65 million right now. Revenues are low. 24 million in revenue. That's not much. for them, and a lot of the stuff is with project partners, and yeah. All right, DeFi Soluna getting an early Iren vibe. I think you might be stretching things there a little bit. All right. Shinchi, hi Seb. What do you think of Backed and Mike Alfred? Also, my portfolio is at an all-time high again today. Thank you, Seb, and to the community. You're very welcome. I mean, it was obviously your own determination and confirmation and things, but you did it. I was just here to talk you guys through some stuff, and it was all on you guys. As far as Backed, I haven't looked into Backed. Obviously, the stock went up nicely today, 40% up on the news that Mike was joining there. So I could look into that one as well. But that one is from the New York Stock Exchange, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's a spinoff from that one, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there. All right, SH, DeFi plans are harder than reality when you don't have the money and you don't make any profit. Yeah, that's kind of going back to Soluna there a little bit, yeah. All right. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, Digital D. Do you think Cleanspark has a chance at revisiting its all-time high? When it transitioned over to Bitcoin mining, I think this cycle we could get there. Maybe exceed it a little bit. But we need to see what they're going to be doing with HPCI as well on it. So that should help out. But I think it's possible. Wyan, what other companies are not Bitcoin miners have significant amounts of megawatts potentially available for HPCI? Maybe we can find other stocks that have not skyrocketed yet. In the past, you would have companies that were in aluminum smelting. Those companies had sites with a lot of megawatts. You obviously saw the one in Rockdale, which was being used by Bitdeer, I believe. Bitdeer bought out that facility, which was an Alcoa facility in the past. So look for companies that have sites that are not being used, basically, that have a large draw on megawatts. That would be one. I'm trying to think of anybody else here. The other ones would be maybe smaller, maybe not even smaller, but some of the data center providers. They might have portfolios of sites there that are not yet in development, or they're in the pipeline. I don't know. There's too much to look into there. All right, DeFi says, now you believe me, Iren 100 price tag is in the cards this year. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I'd love to see it. I'd be happy if it gets there next year, right? I mean, it's obviously going up like crazy here, but I would love it if it gets there. All right, more Tim. Gary Zuckerberg just said he would rather spend on AI and maybe not be the most efficient versus being late. Yeah, I mean, well, he's battling with big guys here, right? He's battling with Google. He's battling with XAI, with OpenAI as well. They're all trying to get to the super intelligence there, because that is going to be huge windfall from that if whoever gets there first. DeFi, Cleanspark looks more promising lately. Are you buying more or converting the Cipher back to Cleanspark? I am not converting anything or transferring over anything right now as it is. Unless, Iren gets to like $150, $200 in the next 3 months, then at that point I might take some profits and maybe transition over into some of the ones that are not doing as well. I might do that, but right now I have no plans right now. Let's see here. YKY Seb, do you see BTC peaking end of this year or early next year? Peaking as in like topping out and being done and going into the bear market? I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening right now, just with everything that's going on. So I think we'll be going up slowly with Bitcoin price over a longer period of time, and we're gonna be bouncing up and down, but mostly to the upside. All right, Gary. Question: Soluna replacing Mara and Cleanspark as this week's mining laggards to jump. Who knows future? But we're obviously a much better buy last week than they are now. Yeah. Okay. What else we got here? Let's see here. DeFi says Bitfarms 1.3 gigawatts, Soluna 2.8 gigawatts. Simply economics few understand. Also depends on sites, location, right? Location is a big thing. Bitfarms has 3 locations in Pennsylvania, 1 in Washington. They got also sites in Canada. That also matters a lot for this stuff as well. Let's see. SH says, we'll find out. The Soluna offered some warrant for the 100 million finance or going to do some kind of dilution. I would have to look into the details of the 100 million. How is it going to be structured for them? But yeah, I mean, it's obviously exciting times for us. It's been a long time overdue. And, I'm happy that you guys are happy, that you guys are joyful, and happy that things are going up and you guys are making, nice profits on all this stuff here. The original context was around Bitcoin miners. We were expecting Bitcoin, but the narrative obviously changed last year into HPCI. And luckily, we were in the space that had a lot of megawatts that could be used for HPCI. And that is helping us out right now because Bitcoin is not doing its thing. It is definitely doing it's doing whatever it wants to do right now, and I think it's under control of the big corporations and big institutions. They are controlling it more now than ever, and they're just going to slowly rise it up. They're going to play it down. They're going to rise it up. They're going to play it down, but I don't think we're going to see these drawdowns like we have seen in the past with Bitcoin going down 70-80%. I don't think that's going to happen. We could see 10, 20, 30% drawdowns, sure, and then unless we have a black swan event where the markets go down, Bitcoin's going to obviously go down as well at that point. All right, but that is it. I am really, really happy that you guys are doing well. You guys have stuck it out in there. Has been easy. I've noticed people were obviously leaving my streams, not coming back because I saw the viewership going down as well. It's just like, I understand it. I completely understand it. I had no beef with anybody. It was just the market was the market and Bitcoin miners weren't doing that great. So completely understood it. And we just progressed through it, plowed through it, and we are obviously on a much better footing right now. So I'm happy that a lot of you guys did stick it out there. All right. Let's see. Wine says if 1 megawatt of BTC miners running costs around 2.5 million, and 1 megawatt of AI energized for hosting costs around 12 million. Why all this hype with AI if the revenues per megawatt for those two options would be similar, right? No, they're not similar. The revenues from HPCI is higher profit margin. You also have a guarantee basically over a number of months, years, whatever it might be on the revenue. Whereas Bitcoin mining, I mean, you could be up huge one month, but the next month you could be huge down. So there's that volatility in that side of things. So that goes into it as well. But yes, if you're building out like a tier 3 data center, then yeah, you're looking at around between $8 and $12 million to build it out. So it's a heck of a lot more expensive, but you're also making a lot more money there from it as well. Let's see, your DeFi says violently adding BMNR. Okay, I hope that works out for you. I really do. All right, I think we're gonna call it a day here. We got one more coming in from DeFi here. Iren is going to be one of the largest data center companies in the world, potentially. I would love to see that as well. They're doing great right now. I have absolutely no qualms with them. Their execution has been fantastic, and they just keep surprising me as time progresses here. So I'm loving it. I'm in it. I'm holding on to it. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm going to ride this roller coaster to the top, wherever that might be, right? Whether it's $100, $200, wherever it might be, I'll have some shares probably in them for the long term. All right, that is it. We'll call it a day. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the announcement that we're going to get from Dennis Porter and company, and maybe Trump also as well. So we'll see what happens there. On that one, we'll cover it. We'll see what other news stories we get. We'll see where Bitcoin is tomorrow. All those other things we'll cover at that point as well. So really appreciate you guys. Love you all for coming in here. And hope you guys have a great night and a great week. I'll see you tomorrow.